I'm Dawit Kebede, Senior Economist at America's Credit Unions. Welcome to the Economic Update. Auto lending is the largest loan category on most credit union balance sheets, accounting for roughly a third of total credit union loan portfolio. So when something shifts in the auto market, credit unions feel it quickly. At the end of 2025, the combined new and used auto loan portfolio at credit unions stood at just over $480 billion, down almost $6 billion from a year ago, and the lowest balance since the third quarter of 2022. This portfolio has been shrinking for several consecutive quarters. To understand why, we must go back to 2022, the peak year for credit union auto lending. Credit unions originated auto loans at record-setting pace, riding a wave of pent-up pandemic demand, elevated vehicle prices, and strong member activity. Those loans typically have terms from 3 to 6 years. Now those members are paying them off, and the runoff is outpacing new originations. There are three forces working against credit union origination growth. First, captive financing, where loans are made by lenders the manufacturers own, has returned after pulling back during the new car shortage of 2021 and 2022. Vehicle production has returned to pre-pandemic levels, and with inventories building, automakers are aggressively using below-market financing to move cars off lots. Second, as liquidity tightened through 2023 and 2024, many credit unions scaled back or exited indirect lending channels that historically drove a significant share of auto volume. Third, rising delinquency and charge-off rates in the 2022 and 2023 loan vintage prompted many credit unions to raise the bar on new originations, tightening lending standards. That's the right credit management decision, but it does reduce origination volume in the near term. The result is a squeeze from both ends. 2022 loans paying off on one side and tighter origination on the other. That math produces a shrinking portfolio. Underlying all of this is a fundamental affordability problem that is suppressing demand across the entire auto market, not just at credit unions. Buying a car today is more expensive than it has ever been. The average amount financed for a new vehicle reached a record of nearly $44,000 in the first quarter of 2026, according to a report from Edmunds. Monthly payments on new vehicles averaged $786, up 4.3% from a year ago. And in 2024, nearly 1 in 5 new vehicle buyers left the lot with a monthly payment exceeding $1,000. Car insurance premiums have risen 54% over the past 5 years. Fuel and maintenance costs have also climbed. Given all that, the total cost of vehicle ownership is consuming a growing share of household budgets. Credit union members are no different. To stretch their budgets, more borrowers are turning to longer loan terms. Loans of 84 months or more now represent a growing share of originations. And roughly 30% of people who traded in a vehicle in Q1 2026 were underwater in their previous loan, carrying an average negative equity of $7,200. When consumers roll that negative equity into the next loan, they are starting their new financing already behind. That's a structural vulnerability that doesn't show up immediately, but almost always shows up eventually, as a missed payment or even as a default. The tariffs on steel, aluminum, copper, and imported auto parts are still in place and add pressure on auto prices. Cox Automotive reports that tariffs cost the industry an estimated $30 billion. This cost is translated to an increase of $6,000 to $8,000 for imported cars and up to $2,000 on domestic cars due to tariffs on steel and aluminum. For the auto market overall, the demand impact is already visible. New light vehicle sales fell 5.2% in the first quarter of 2026 compared to the same period in 2025. Cox Automotive projects U.S. auto sales at 15.8 million units for the full year, a decline of more than 3% from 2025. For credit unions specifically, this creates a compounding problem. Higher vehicle prices push more buyers towards longer loan terms and larger loan amounts, both of which increase the probability of negative equity and eventual delinquency. They also push some buyers out of the new car market entirely, adding demand pressure to used vehicles and raising prices there as well. The auto loan cycle is playing out across multiple dimensions at once. A shrinking portfolio, a competitive origination environment, an affordability wall for members, and a tariff-driven price shock. The good news for credit unions is that they offer the lowest auto loan rates on the market. This data shows the median interest rate on a 6-year term loan for near-prime borrowers, those with a Vantage 3.0 credit score between 620 and 660. Going all the way back to 2006, credit unions have offered better financing than other lenders in all economic conditions. We will continue to track the data and bring the analysis you need to make smart decisions for your institution and your members. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next month.